Okay, so I will be not able to put on my camera. It is
Yes.
not working today, but I'll share my screen now. Okay,
Just a minute. I'll give you the access.
please.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Please check.
Yeah. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I think 37 participants have already joined, so we can surely start.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I welcome you all, students as well as Aparna ma'am and Pranam, for this lecture series of applications and threats in AI. And this is our second lecture. And in this particular lecture, we are going to look at some advanced AI concepts and applications in real world, AI applications in real world. So I'll be presenting this lecture. Let me introduce myself just in one slide. So I'm Yogini Barde, and I carry 12 years of experience in IT development, digital marketing, freelance servicing, as well as teaching as well. So I have been working with multiple startups as a development team leader. Then I have done some freelance digital marketing as well as freelance development. And uh, I also have worked as a PGT at a CBSE school. So I carry some of the teaching experience, and I'm really happy that I could connect with students again today. So this really feels great. And currently, I'm working as a digital marketing consultant at DG Future Tech. You can say it's a founder's office for Rian. And again, I like to be connected with the students once again. So, students, hello all who have joined recently. Yeah, okay. Now let me tell you about our company once in a single slide. What is DG Future Tech? So, DG Future Tech is a managed service division of Digital Garage Group Japan. It's we provide some what you can say server access and monitoring services to our clients in Japan. We are expanding in other countries as well, but right now we have our clients in Japan only. Our services portfolio is like we provide infrastructure management, system administration, data backup, disaster recovery services to big fintech giants companies in Japan. So we have around a team of 100 people providing all these services. So this was about our company, DG Future Tech. Then let's come back to Rian, what Rian is, because we are AI company. Rian is our AI company where we are leveraging the power of AI to the latest version. So, as Pranav already has told you yesterday that what Rian does actually, and he has shown you one sample video that is created through Rian. So, today I have one small video. I will not explain this text again, but I'll show you one Rian video where you will see what all functions are provided at Rian. So let me play this video for you.
Language has the power to cross boundaries or even dissolve them. Organizations can relay their brand message across geographies if they choose to harness the power of languages. You need a partner, a language technology partner, a partner who understands your business and the message you want to communicate to the customers across boundaries. We, Rikayan Technology Private Limited, are a technology leader in the land tech space and deliver solutions that custom fit your needs by using our proprietary platform, Rian. Our customers enjoy the benefits of our ability to leverage technology and create solutions that matter. With close to 175 plus global clients who harness the power of our own Rian platform that offers solutions in close to 60 global languages. We help our customers resolve language barriers. We offer document translation and audio video localization, all through the same Brian platform.
Yes, so this was about our company, Rian, what it actually does. So, students, I'll like you to also interact in between. If I ask you a question, will you able to answer? Just a minute, there is one chat message. Acha, they are entering their present here. Okay, I thought it's a chat message.
Please don't enter present over here, students.
Okay.
I'll share the Google form link after some time.
Okay. I think yesterday also they were entering their names and roll number and class.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, ma'am, I see quite a lot of mix of students from all courses like cybersecurity, BCA, and cyber, what I saw yesterday.
Biotechnology,
Biotechnology as well, yes. So
general
all these
yes.
students are there. Okay.
Yes, yes. General science, biotechnology, cybersecurity, then
Okay.
computer science.
Okay. I would like to interact with them, ma'am, because one-way lecture is really boring for me as well. Please
Yes, sure, sure.
encourage them if they want to ask something or answer any of the questions if I ask during the course of this lecture.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's have some recapitulation from our previous lecture, what you saw yesterday. So yesterday, Pranav has explained you the foundational concepts of AI. What does AI mean? How it evolved? What is the history of development of AI? And what are key terminologies used in this particular field of artificial intelligence? I think he has also discussed some ethical considerations. And you have also discussed about the different types of learning, the importance of data modeling, and the advancements in the uh, data learning or deep learning. Then you have also seen the impact of AI. So we will revisit few concepts from this yesterday's lecture, but we will revisit them with some depth and some advancements. So let's start with our today's topic and what we are going to see today. So first of all, we will start with the introduction to some advanced AI concepts, and then in the second part of this lecture, we will check with the real world applications of AI in maybe healthcare or finance or even in education. So let's start with the advanced AI concepts. And what are these concepts? So four concepts I am planning to discuss today. Reinforcement learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and then AI application areas, ethical guidelines, and potential threats. Okay. So let's start with reinforcement learning. So it is also called as RL in short. It is a type of learning which is used to teach machine. So it is a type of machine learning where an agent learns by interacting with its environment. It's a very similar to training a dog. If you have seen how you train a dog, that you first tell him where he can go, where he cannot go, then what is his good behavior and what is the bad behavior. You give him treats when he behaves good, he stops barking or he obeys your commands, then it is called as good behavior. And you can you also term his bad behavior. Okay, this he should not do these things. So if you have a pet at home, you will understand these things. And after a period, that pet also understand what is expected out of him, like when he will get reward and when he will get punishment. So this is very similar to training a dog. So I won't say it's a dog thing, but not that difficult, machine learning. But yes, the thing is very similar. In this reinforcement learning, the agent received rewards or penalties for its action, and it learns to maximize its cumulative reward over time. Okay. जेव्हा आपल्याला कळतं, मराठी कळतं ना सगळ्यांना? ओके. तर जेव्हा आपल्याला कळतं की आपलं हे बिहेवियर, इव्हन लहान मुलांना सुद्धा आपण बघितलं की आपण असं वागलं तर आपल्याला शाबासकी मिळते किंवा काहीतरी खाऊ मिळतो, आणि ते तसं बिहेवियर त्यांचं ते रिपिटेटिव्ह करण्याचा प्रयत्न करत जातात, आणि काय केलं की एखादा फटका पडतो हे पण त्यांना कळतं, त्याच्यामुळे ते बिहेवियर ते अवॉइड करायचा प्रयत्न करतात. सो दिस इज अ सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ लर्निंग मेकॅनिझम विच इज अडॅप्टेड फॉर दिस मशीन लर्निंग ओव्हर हियर. So there are 4 key components of this reinforcement learning. पहिला आहे तो agent, the decision maker that interacts with the environment. Then second is the environment, the world where the agent operates in. म्हणजे त्याच्या बाउंड्रीज आपण ठरवून देतो की कुठपर्यंत तुला एजंटला ऍक्सेस आहे किंवा कुठपर्यंत त्याने विचार करायचा आहे ऍक्शन्सचा. Then there is a state, the current situation of the agent. Then the action, the choices the agent can make. Then there is a reward, a signal indicating the success or failure of an action. तर हे 5 कंपोनंट असतात रिइन्फोर्समेंट लर्निंग मध्ये. सो लेट्स सी हाऊ डज इट वर्क. सो इनिशियलायझेशन फेज असते, एक ऍक्शन फेज असते, ऑब्झर्वेशन, अपडेट अँड रिपीट फेज. So first is in initialization, the agent starts in a random state. He doesn't know where he is आणि किती शिकलाय किंवा बॅकग्राऊंड त्याला काही माहित नाही आता. Then action, the agent chooses an action based on its current state and a policy. एक रूल किंवा गाईडलाईन जी बनवलेली आहे त्याच्या बेसिसवर इट विल चूज वन ऍक्शन. Then the agent observes the new state and receives a reward. If the agent receives the reward, then it prompts itself, yes, this is the action which is intended. This is a good behavior. So he registers that this action, I have received a reward for this action. So this is intended action. And so I can keep on repeating this action. Okay. But when the action is taken and there is no reward, or there is a punishment, or there is a penalty, then the agent registers it as a unintended action and it will try to avoid that action in future. So this is the state of update, where it will update its own policies to maximize the future rewards. What that agent naturally tendency अशीच असेल एजंटची की he will try to repeat the good behavior for which he is getting the rewards. Then this process continues until a terminal state is reached or a maximum number of states are exceeded. So this kind of reinforcement learning is done in a kind of what you can say some limited kind of environment where the agent is allowed to take some predefined number of steps, and then after these number of steps are exceeded, the learning stops. Okay, so this is how the reinforcement learning works. The next part is just a minute. Okay, so we are just again repeating this reinforcement learning. So in essence, reinforcement learning is a powerful tool for training agents to make optimal decisions in complex environment, making it a valuable technique in various fields. So there are some challenges and limitations of this learning method for machine learning. This method adopts exploration versus exploitation. So you need to balance the need to explore new actions with exploiting known good ones. Then sparse reward, dealing with the environment where rewards are infrequent or delayed. Then credit assignment, determining which action led to particular outcome. That is a bit of challenging thing. Then sample efficiency, learning effectively with limited data and scalability. Uh, when it comes to applying it to large state and large number of actions, then this kind of learning becomes a bit challenging. Okay. Then let's go to this next slide. So you might have seen the example of self-driving cars. Okay. So this is one case study for self-driving car where reinforced learning is applied to make the car learn how to drive and what decision to take at what action. So let's look at this case study. So, first of all, let's see what are the challenges in self-driving cars. Still, the what you can say the project is there are self-driving cars, but still it is not full-fledged. Some kind of learning is yet to be done for this. So, let's see very basic case study for this particular self-driving cars. First challenge is the complex environment. Self-driving cars must operate in dynamic and unpredictable environment, including varying weather condition, traffic congestion, and unexpected obstacles. Then safety is a major concern, that ensuring the safety of both passengers and pedestrians and other vehicles on the road is of importance. Then ethical consideration, making decisions in situation that involve potential harm to human or to the property. So this is one of the ethical consideration, that what kind of decision should be made in what condition. We humans are trained from childhood to minimize the potential harm to human and not to the property kind of thing. But for cars, it becomes what you can say distinguishing and major factor where they have to apply their learning. So these are the challenges, and how this RL type of method address these challenges. So first thing is, sorry. First thing is learning from experience. Reinforcement learning agents can learn to drive by interacting with the environment, gaining experience and adjusting their behavior based on the outcomes of their actions. Adaptability. These algorithms allow self-driving cars to adapt to different driving conditions, such as varying road types, traffic patterns, and weather. Weather condition also play a very important role while we drive, or where these self-driving cars need to learn driving. Then decision making. This kind of learning can help self-driving car make complex decisions, such as when to accelerate, when to apply brake, when to change the lane, or how to avoid obstacles without harming the other creatures on the road. So this is the short case study for self-driving cars in the RL kind of learning. So reinforcement learning techniques used in self-driving car were Deep Q network, DQN. It combines with deep learning and Q learning to handle complex state and action space. Then policy gradients. Policy gradients directly optimize the policy to maximize rewards, make them suitable for continuous control tasks like steering and acceleration. Then there is a actor-centric method, where it combines the policy-based and value-based approaches, providing a balance between exploration and exploitation. Then example use cases are lane keeping assistants. This RL method can be used to train self-driving car to stay within their lane, even in challenging conditions like curved roads or in case of heavy traffic. Then second use case can be termed as the intersection navigation. This learning method can help self-driving cars safely navigate the complex interactions, considering factors like traffic signals, pedestrians crossing the roads, and keeping in mind the other vehicles around. Then emergency braking. RL can be used to train a self-driving car to detect and respond to emergency situations such as sudden obstacle and giving way to the other vehicle. So here, what are the challenges and future directions for this case study? The first challenges, the very first challenge in case of any of the AI methodology applied to real life, the very first challenge is of the data privacy. So collecting and processing large amounts of data for training these models raises privacy concerns. Like uh, it can have some like some routes data. It can have some number of cars driving data, or it can have the number plates of the cars going through. So these kind of data will be involved in training the model, and it might raise some data privacy concerns. Then safety and ethics. This is the second concern. Ethics is the concern for all the AI models that are applied in the real life examples. So safety and ethics, ensuring the safety and ethical behavior of self-driving cars is a major challenge. Then scalability, training RL model for large scale real world application can be computationally expensive. So making fast processor, using fast processor for this kind of learning, creating algorithm, processing those algorithm can become a challenge for in case of this self-driving cars. So this was about the case study where this reinforcement learning is applied for self-driving cars. Then a second type of AI concept, advanced AI concept that can be discussed here is a deep learning. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses artificial neural network with multiple layers to analyze complex patterns in the data. It is inspired by the structure and the function of our human brain, where neurons connect and process the information. So this typically has a structure like of our brain, and the decision making is done with the help of neural networks. Key components of deep learning. First is the neural network. These are the computational models made up of interconnected nodes. Those are called as neurons that process information. Then the second component is the layer. Neural network are organized in different type of layer. The first is the input layer, and the second layer is the hidden layer, and third is the output layer. In input layer, it will receive the raw data. In hidden layer, it will process all these data and extract its features. Then in output layer, it will produce the final result. It will be like prediction or classification. Then activation function. These function introduce non-linearity into network, allowing it to learn complex patterns. It is not like the learning will happen in a very, what we can say, straightforward way. There are different aspects to each of the situation. and all the aspects should be taken care of before making any kind of decision. So this kind of complex pattern always present in our life, but we as a human, we have the tendency to look at all the aspect and make uh, the decision which will be best in that particular situation. So how does deep learning work? So first component, that is data input. The network receives a large data set as input. Here network means the neural network. It will receive a large data set as input. Then it will extract the features from that data. The hidden layer learn to extract relevant feature from the data. Then it will adjust the weights connections based on the errors in its prediction. Then propagation. This process involves calculating the error at the output layer and propagating it backward through the network to update the weights. Then iteration. The network continues to learn and improve its accuracy through multiple interactions of training. Here, this back propagation, think we can take an example of a baby trying to lift something with his hand. It might fail few times, but then it will send signals to, he will learn at last that baby will learn to hold the thing tightly in his hand and pick up. So that kind of back propagation learning can happen over here. So where this deep learning is applied. Deep learning is applied for image recognition, identifying object, faces, and scenes in the image. Then this deep learning is also applied for natural language processing, NLP, understanding and generating human language. Then speech recognition, converting the spoken language into text, recommendation systems, suggesting products or content based on user preferences. Again, it can be used for medical diagnosis as well, for analyzing medical images, for disease detection, and autonomous vehicles, enabling cars to perceive and navigate the environment. So these are the application areas of deep learning. So I think all students are on the same page with me, and I can proceed to the next slide. Yeah, I would like to receive few responses through chat if possible, students. If you are keeping up with me, then please just respond in the chat box. Okay. Then so there are some advantages and limitations again of this deep learning. So what are the advantages of deep learning? Automatic feature extraction. This is the basic advantage of deep learning. It can automatically learn relevant features from the data. Accuracy is very high with the models where deep learning is applied. And versatility. It can be applied to wide range of problems. So in a sense, deep learning is a powerful tool that enables machine to learn from data and perform tasks that were previously thought to be exclusively human capabilities. So with deep learning, we can make the machines to take proper decisions with some kind of emotional factor as well, so that they exhibit the what you can say correct kind of behavior. So the next application of AI, advanced AI concept that we are going to look at is the natural language processing. So what is natural language processing? First of all, NLP is a field of artificial intelligence that deals with the interaction between computers and human, that is natural languages. The goal is to enable computers to understand, interpret, and generate human language in a meaningful way. So this is the basic goal of natural language processing through computers. Then what are the components of NLP? NLP has three basic components. First is text pre-processing, second is feature engineering, and third is machine learning models. So first text pre-processing has a few steps wherein there is a tokenization, breaking text into individual words or tokens. Then there is a stemming, reducing the words to their root form, and lemmatization. So this is converting word to their dictionary form. Then feature engineering, creating numerical representation of text data, creating some bag of words, and TF and IDF. Then machine learning model, classifiers, that is these are the some of the classifiers, support vector machines and naive Bayes. Then recurrent neural network, RNN, long and short memory networks, and transformers. These are the component of machine learning models. So what are the challenges in natural language processing? Of course, it is a complex field. When it comes to language, we also have seen that the language changes every 5 kilometers. The person from Pune will not speak the same language as person from Aurangabad. He might have some different vocabulary. The person from maybe Jalgaon, he might have some different kind of vocabulary. The words which they use for the same thing or for the same, what you can say, action are quite different. Their speaking tone, what you can say, the arrangement of words might also be different. So this is it. The language itself is a very complex model to access. So it has inherent challenges that researchers and developers must address. So here are some primary difficulties. First one is the ambiguity. Natural language can be ambiguous and context dependent. So here we can say that one word when used at different places can have different meaning, or it can the inference which is taken out of that sentence can be totally different from one another. So this is the ambiguity. Then polysemy. Same word have got multiple meanings. In Marathi language, if you have studied in Marathi, then there are lot of words, lots and lots of words where the meaning of the same word is different. And it depends on how and where you use, in what context you use. Then there is synonymy. Words can have similar meanings, very similar meaning words, close meaning they have. Then lack of data. Sufficient label data is often required from training NLP models. And the noise in data. Incorrectly spelled words, misspelled punctuation marks can increase the noise in the data, making the input data itself, what you can say, noisy or full of mistakes. And if that data is processed, then the output is surely going to give some wrong inferences. So these are the basic challenges where the researchers need to look at. Let's go ahead and explore NLP. Again, challenges in neural network. See, again, I'm explaining again this ambiguity and contextual understanding that I have gave you the same example, like we have multiple meaning. One word can have multiple meaning, making it difficult for computer to determine the correct interpretation based on the context. Then synonymy, words with similar meaning leading to challenges in semantic understanding. Contextual dependence, the meaning of a word or phrase can change depending on its context or even tone, in which tone it is pronounced, then making it difficult to accurately interpret. Then data sparsity and bias, limited data and data bias. So bias in training data can lead to biased model and perpetuating existing societal biases. Then next is handling dialects and variation. As I told you, the language pronunciation, the vocabulary, the tone changes every 5 miles in, at least in India. Uh, in other countries, it is quite uniform, but in India, the diversity in the field of language is like enormous. So you cannot predict in what regional uh, language or what words or what vocabulary is being used. So regional differences, different region with language may have distinct dialects, accents, and vocabulary, making it difficult for NLP models to understand all variations. Slang and colloquials. So informal language such as slang and colloquial can be challenging for NLP systems to interpret. Dealing with noise and error, as I told you, if the data has some error like grammatical error or you can say some inconsistency in the tense, which can lead to the inaccuracy in the NLP model. So, what challenges are there? I'm sorry. So evaluating model performance, subjectivity. Evaluating the performance of NLP model can be subjective as there is no single universally accepted metric. Domain specific challenges. The evaluation matrix used for one NLP task may not be suitable for another, making it difficult to compare model across different domains. देर आर सम डोमेन स्पेसिफिक लँग्वेज ॲज वेल. म्हणजे आपण जर लॉ फील्ड बघितलं, ज्युडिशियरी लॉ फील्ड बघितलं, तर त्याच्यात काही काही फ्रेजेस असतात, काही काही वाक्य असतात, ती तशाच पद्धतीने लिहावी लागतात. पण तीच वाक्य जर तुम्ही मेडिसिन फील्डमध्ये वापरली तर त्याचा तिथे काही उपयोग नसणारे किंवा त्याचं काही तिथे रिलेव्हन्स नसणारे, उपयोगपेक्षा रिलेव्हन्स म्हणूया आपण. सो दिस इज द डोमेन स्पेसिफिक चॅलेंज. And the evolution of language. Languages keep on changing. आता आपण बघतोय तर we are going global आणि there are so many words in English that we are adopting very easily. आणि constantly language on its own also is evolving. त्याच्यामध्ये काही नवे फीचर्स येत असतात, काही नवे काय म्हणूया आपण त्याला फीचर्स, फ्रेजेस इंट्रोड्यूस होत असतात. आता सोशल मीडिया, कम्प्युटर्स याच्या वापरामुळे तर तुम्ही बघाल तर बरेच नवीन नवीन फ्रेजेस इंट्रोड्यूस झालेले आहेत आपल्या रोजच्या बोलण्यामध्ये सुद्धा. सो न्यू वर्ड्स, फ्रेजेस, युसेज पॅटर्न are emerging over time, and this can make it challenging for NLP models to stay up to date. Addressing these challenges require a combination of advanced algorithm, large-scale data sets, and innovative techniques. As NLP continues to evolve, researchers and developers are working to overcome these obstacles and create more robust and accurate language processing systems. So the challenges can be handled by the NLP algorithms, but yes, थोडा कुठेतरी लिमिटेशन येऊ शकतं. But still the researchers are trying to make it robust kind of thing. Then natural language processing in action. तुम्ही आत्ता बघाल तर रिअल वर्ल्ड केसेस आहेत. गुगल ट्रान्सलेट यू आर युझिंग, ChatGPT-3 तुम्ही वापरता आहे, त्यानंतर कस्टमर सर्व्हिस चॅटबॉट्स तुम्ही बघता आहे, कॉल सेंटरमध्ये सुद्धा तुम्ही बघता तेव्हा तुम्ही भाषा बदलली तुमची की आपोआप तुम्हाला रेकॉर्डेड मेसेज जे असतात ते सुद्धा ट्रान्सलेट करून ऐकू येतात. त्यानंतर ऍक्टिव्हिटी, डेमॉन्स्ट्रेशन ऑफ चॅटबॉट और ट्रान्सलेशन टूल. इथे तुम्हाला एखादा चॅटबॉट बघायला आवडेल का स्टुडंट्स? लेट मी गो हेड. गुगल ट्रान्सलेट कसं वर्क होतं सगळ्यांनाच माहिती आहे. गुगल ट्रान्सलेट युजेस advanced NLP techniques to accurately translate text, speech, or even image. It has revolutionized the communication and understanding across cultures, breaking down the language barriers. Then generative pre-trained transformers, that is GPT. So this is a powerful language model capable of generating human quality text, translating languages, writing different kind of creative contents, and answering your questions in an informative way. So it has demonstrated the potential of NLP to automate tasks that were previously thought to require human intelligence, such as writing articles, creating stories, or even generating code. All these things can now be done through this GPT. Sorry. So if you have some time after this, you can go to one of these websites, academy.hubspot.com. So this is the academy for learning basically digital marketing and kind of social media. So you can go there and try their chatbot. It is a very powerful chatbot. It will answer all your questions with a very relevant and correct answer. And you can actually put in your problem and you will get answer to solution to your problem from this particular chatbot. There are many other chatbots also, but this is very related to academy. So I have chosen this as an example. So after this class is over, you can directly go to this particular website. And as you all know, the chatbot appears at the bottom right corner generally of any of the website. If you have seen, they have actually decided the place also for the chatbot. So for in any application or on any website on your computer screen, the chatbot will appear at the right corner, bottom right corner, and it will ask you how can I assist you and everything. You can ask questions and get answers, specific answers to your questions. Again, these chatbots are trained to uh, answer the question related to the domain to which that website caters to. So you can ask the questions from that domain only. Okay, so this is the website which I have told you. Then if you have any opinions, any of your opinions or any of your doubts regarding the challenges and limitations of NLP, you can put them in your chat box if possible. Okay, so here we have finished with the topic of natural language processing. So any doubts still here? Or should I go ahead? Hello? Okay, no problem. So that was till last slide, we looked at the advanced AI concepts and what are the challenges and what are the advancements those are made with those AI concepts. Now let's dive into the AI applications in real world. How AI is applied in real world. So from here onwards, we will look at the different kind of applications of AI in our day-to-day life. So here is one figure I got from internet and I have just used it here. So where all you are seeing these AI applications right now. So you have got some robotic readers. You have got AI powered personal assistants like Alexa or even Hello Google in your phone. Then fully autonomous vehicles, that is not available in India, but yes, experiments are being made. Then AI autopilots, then Google's AI power predictions and ride sharing apps. Google's AI power predictions बहुतेक सकाळी उठून सगळे लोक बघतात की आज किती पाऊस पडणार आहे, किती पर्सेंट आज प्रेडिक्शन आहे पावसाचं, किती वाजता पडणार आहे, कसं वेदर असणार आहे. देन दे डिसाइड वेदर टू गो on road trip or sit at home. Then राईड शेअरिंग ऍप्स लाईक तुमचे कॅब्स आणि हे सगळे ते सुद्धा AI वर चालत आहेत. तर सध्या these are the examples where AI has already entered into our lives. Okay. So let's go ahead to the next slide. So first is the healthcare, AI in healthcare. So what are the fields where AI is helping in healthcare sector? It is first of all helping in the diagnostic, in medical imaging and early disease detection. Then it is also working in the field of personalized medicine, AI-driven treatment plan tailored to individual patients. म्हणजे इंडिव्हिज्युअल पेशंटची केस हिस्ट्री लक्षात घेऊन की त्याला आत्ता काय सफरिंग्स आहेत त्यानुसार त्याचा मेडिसिन प्लान बनवणे किंवा त्याचे ऍटलिस्ट डॉक्टरला या माणसाला कुठले कुठले मेडिसिन देता येईल हे सजेस्ट करणे ह्या प्रकारचं पर्सनलाइज मेडिकेशन होऊ शकतं याच्यामध्ये. देन वी विल डिस्कस सम केस स्टडीज, AI रोल इन ड्रग डिस्कवरी अँड पॅन्डेमिक मॅनेजमेंट बेसिकली, आणि example of AI in healthcare application. These are the things which we will look at. Then tailored treatment for every patient with the help of AI, how it is done. So individualized treatment plans, AI analyzes patient data, genomics, medical history, lifestyle to create the personalized treatment plans. Then optimized outcome by considering the individual factors. AI helps optimize treatment effectiveness and minimize the side effect. Precision medicine, AI-driven personalized medicine is transforming healthcare by delivering more effective care for patient. Then genetic testing, AI may analyze genetic data to identify specific mutation associated with the diseases, enabling targeted treatments. काही हेरिडेटरी प्रॉब्लेम्स असतील तर काही म्युटेशन्स असतील दिसले तर दोज ऑल्सो कॅन बी डिटेक्टेड विथ द हेल्प ऑफ AI, because it will get the data and it will do the sampling and then it will काहीतरी प्रेडिक्शन्स तो त्याच्यावरून करू शकेल. देन ड्रग रिपर्पजिंग, AI can identify existing drugs that may be effective for new diseases as well, accelerating the drug development and reducing the cost for drug development. Then disease prediction, AI can predict the likelihood of disease onset or progression based on patient's data, allowing for early intervention and prevention. Clinical trial matching, AI can match patients to appropriate clinical trials based on their specific characteristics, increasing the efficiency of drug development. So this is one of the area. Clinical trial हा एक खूप मोठा एरिया आहे हेल्थकेअर मध्ये, where it takes years before the tablet or before the medicine is actually introduced in the market. खूप मोठ्या डेटा सेटवर, खूप व्हेरिड डेटा सेटवर त्यांना ते सगळं टेस्ट करावं लागतं क्लिनिकल टेस्टिंगसाठी, आणि त्यानंतरच ते जे काही औषध असतं ते बाजारात प्रेझेंट करू शकतात. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज क्लिनिकल ट्रायल. देन एक केस स्टडी, AI's role in drug discovery and pandemic. So accelerated drug discovery, AI can rapidly analyze vast data sets to identify potential drug candidates, reducing the development and time cost. Historical data जो available असेल त्याच्यावरून it can do this analysis and present. Then pandemic management. We all know that last 2 years, 21 and 22 were very crucial for the entire humankind, and at that time AI played a very critical role during this COVID-19 response, aiding in disease surveillance, contact tracing, and even in vaccine development. Then transforming healthcare. These case studies demonstrate the transformative potential of AI in addressing complex healthcare challenges. Now, again, as I told you at the start of this lecture, that every AI assistance or every AI methodology have got ethical consideration along with it, because misuse or what you can say, ही जी पॉवर त्याच्याकडे येणार आहे किंवा हा जो डेटा कलेक्ट होणार आहे एआय कडे, तर त्याचा उपयोग कसा करायचा, दॅट इज टोटली डिपेंडेंट इन द वे इट हॅज बीन टॉट. सो सगळ्यात पहिला कन्सर्न यातला जो असतो तो असतो डेटा प्रायव्हसी अँड सिक्युरिटी. प्रोटेक्टिंग द पेशंट डेटा फ्रॉम अनऑथोराइज्ड ऍक्सेस अँड मिसयूज इट ॲज अ paramount ethical concern. Then algorithmic bias, ensuring that AI algorithms are fair and unbiased, avoiding discrimination on the part of caste, creed, or color. Kiva, even with certain patient groups, maybe age, maybe race, gender wise, हे कुठं डिस्क्रिमिनेशन त्याच्यात यायला नको. Then transparency and explainability. Understanding how AI algorithm make decision is essential for ensuring the accountability and trust. Autonomy and agency. Respecting patient autonomy and agency in decision making, even when the AI provides recommendation. Then again, for every of this AI application, there is a guideline or a framework, ethical framework that is suggested, that how that AI application should behave. So the ethical framework for AI in healthcare is like adopting ethical frameworks like Belmont Report to guide AI development and deployment. Human oversight, ensuring human oversight and intervention in critical decision-making processes. Education and awareness, raising awareness among healthcare professionals and the public about ethical implications of AI. Then collaboration and regulation, fostering collaboration between stakeholders like the people developing technology, the physicians, and the people who are taking care of this ethical guideline, and developing appropriate regulation to address ethical concerns. Because त्याशिवाय हे शक्य होणार नाहीये, कारण अनकंट्रोल्ड जर झाल्या या सगळ्या एआय ऍप्लिकेशन्स, तर इट इज गोइंग टू बी what you can say a total mess. या प्रत्येकासाठी एक असं काहीतरी आपण ज्याला म्हणतो ना, एक लिमिटेशन किंवा एक कॅप, अपर कॅप असणं खूप गरजेचं आहे. Then here is one case study in healthcare, how AI is helping in this actual healthcare. This is a video actually, आणि हा एका लिंक्डइन पोस्ट मध्ये एम्बेडेड आहे. तर I will again, I think I'll be sharing this PPT with ma'am, so you can see this video. This video actually depicts a person who is totally, you can say, disabled. त्याला बोलता पण येत नाहीये, फुल पॅरालाइज्ड आहे बॉडी त्याची, आणि हाऊ AI is helping him express his opinions, his words by applying so many what you can say probes to his body. एक त्याच्या डोक्याला लावलेला आहे, एक त्याच्या गळ्यापाशी लावलेला आहे, असे प्रोब सगळे, आणि ही इज ट्राइंग टू स्पीक आउट. आणि त्याचा जो असा असं म्हणजे काय म्हणूया की नीट ऐकू न येणारा जो आवाज आहे, तो AI ऍप्लिकेशनच्या मदतीने कसा क्लिअर ऐकू येतोय, आणि कसे ते शब्द तो जे बोलतोय ते समोर स्क्रीनवर दिसत आहे. अँड दॅट इज हाऊ ही कॅन कम्युनिकेट विथ द वर्ल्ड. So this is a very famous video which is available on YouTube as well. You can view this video later on. Then the second what I can say area where AI is still being applied is the financial sector. So this financial sector entirely work on the huge amount of data. There is nothing else available in this financial sector रादर दॅन द डेटा, अर्लियर डेटा, आणि तो डेटा प्रोसेस करूनच पुढचे सगळे डिसिजन्स याच्यात घेतले जात असतात. तर what is available in this particular, what kind of AI applications are available in financial sector? The first is the robo advisor. So you can have a robo advisor to for your personalized investment, and you can decide your investment strategy based on the advice which is given by this robo. So if you give all your inputs, then it will analyze and it will show which kind of investment will be good for you. Then these are the low cost solutions compared to traditional human advisors. तुम्ही जर बघाल तर आता सगळे काही कॅपिटल मार्केटमध्ये इन्व्हेस्ट करायला लागलेले आहेत, अगदी सगळेच लोक म्हणजे. आणि त्यामुळे इन्व्हेस्टमेंट कन्सल्टंट हा एक खूप मोठा प्रोफेशन बनला आहे. आणि इफ यू लुक ॲट देम, देन त्यांच्या फीज आणि त्यांचे कन्सल्टिंग चार्जेस जे असतात ते खूप जास्त असतात. सो दिस रोबो ॲडवायझर कॅन गिव्ह यू ॲडवाइस विथ low costs. Then diversification and rebalancing. AI-powered systems can automatically rebalance portfolios to maintain desired asset allocation and manage the risk, minimize the risk basically. Then there are different kind of trading algorithms as well based on AI. For the people who are doing high frequency trading, it can execute the trade at lightning fast speed and take the advantage of tiny market inefficiencies. Complex analysis, these algorithms can process vast amounts of data, including market news, economic indicators, and historical price movement, or identify the training opportunities. Risk management, again, it will try to minimize the risk associated with any of the investment. Again, there are few two different what I can say applications for credit scoring and other perks. So credit scoring, improved accuracy, it can reduce the bias, and it can do some kind of financial inclusion by considering the broader range of data, and it can improve the access to credit or undeserved populations. And the perks of this kind of AI application in financial sector can be treated as it is 24/7 working model. So you will get customer support at any given time. Then you can have personalized kind of interactions with these models. Again, chatbot, basically asking question and getting responses, and efficient problem solving. Based on the data, it will give you the best possible answer. But again, in the next slide, we are going to consider its drawbacks as well. So let's go to the next slide. Again, ethical issues for AI-driven finance. First one is the lack of accountability. तुम्हाला जर कोणा सीए ने काही ऍडवाइस दिला आणि जर काही चुकीचं झालं तर यू कॅन गो बॅक टू द पर्सन अँड आस्क, हे असं कसं झालं, हे तुम्ही सांगितलं होतं आणि हे मी केलं आणि हे चुकीचं झालं. तर ही कॅन प्रोव्हाइड यू सम काइंड ऑफ व्हॉट यू कॅन से रेमेडियल ऍक्शन, किंवा तो तुम्हाला सांगेल की नाही हे असं नाही असं झालं. पण इन केस ऑफ सिस्टीम्स, AI सिस्टीम्स, whom to take as the accountable? अकाउंटेबिलिटी कोणाची याच्यात? शेवटी ऍक्शन घेणारे तुम्हीच आहात. त्यामुळे यू कॅनॉट मेक द AI सिस्टीम अकाउंटेबल फॉर युअर फायनान्शियल लॉस. So this is a very complex system and very opaque, not at all transparent. So कशाच्या बेसिसवर हा निर्णय घेतला गेला हे म्हणजे डिसाइड करणं खूप कठीण आहे इथे. Then liability issues. If AI system can cause harm, then it is challenging to assign the liability and seek redress. ते जे आता मी सांगितलं की रेमेडी कशी शोधायची त्याच्यावर, इट इज व्हेरी चॅलेंजिंग. देन अगेन एथिकल फ्रेमवर्क. तुम्ही हे कसं मानून चालाल की AI सिस्टीमने दिलेला तुम्हाला जो ऍडवाइस आहे तो बेस्ट पॉसिबल आहे आणि इट इज फॉर युअर बेटरमेंट ओनली. तर दिस इज द एथिकल फ्रेमवर्क विच इज असोसिएटेड. Then the second ethical issue is market manipulation. High frequency trading, AI power high frequency trading can contribute to market volatility, and it can actually manipulate the market condition. Information advantage, AI algorithm may have an unfair advantage over human traders, leading to market imbalance. Regulatory challenge, regulating AI-driven trading practices can be difficult as these systems often operate at high speed and can be hard to monitor. Again, third concern is data privacy, security. Financial data is kind of a very sensitive data from the personal aspect as well as from the national aspect. So, including this transaction, credit histories, and biometric information, all this data which is processed in financial operation is very sensitive. It can lead to some data breaches as well, vulnerable to data breaches leading to identity theft, financial fraud, and reputational damage. Data misuse, personal data can be misused for discriminating or unfair treatment or even privacy violations. Okay, so that was about AI in financial sector. Now let's see how AI is doing in the education sector. Just a minute, I'll take a moment. So entire educational landscape is getting changed with the help of AI. And it is offering so many innovative solutions to the traditional challenges. By leveraging AI technologies, educators can create personalized, engaging, and effective learning experiences. The first one is the personalized learning. AI-powered platform can analyze student data to identify the needs, the learning style of that particular student, and then uh, they will suggest teachers to tailor instruction to meet the specific need for each student, ensuring that they are challenged and supported appropriately. Then intelligent tutoring system. ITS provide real-time feedback, explanation, and guidance to student. They can adapt to the student's pace and level of understanding, offering personalized support and remediation whenever required. Automated grading and assessment. These systems are to used at many places. Online टेस्ट ज्या होतात तुमच्या सगळ्या एंट्रन्स ज्या काही होतात त्या सगळ्या तुमच्या ऑटोमॅटिक ग्रेडिंग आणि असेसमेंटवरच होत असतात. So AI can automate the process of grading assessment, quizzes, exams, and it will free up teachers from this kind of burden. And they can focus on personalized instruction and feedback. AI-powered assessment tools can also provide valuable insights into students' performance and identify the areas for improvement. Then, with the help of AI, the accessibility of the education is enhanced. So it can make the education more accessible to students with disabilities or the students who live in remote areas. For example, AI-powered speech-to-text and text-to-speech technologies can assist students with hearing or visual impairment, while AI-powered adaptive learning platform can accommodate students with different learning styles. So these are the benefits of AI in education. Again, AI is applied in a variety of ways. How these applications are developed. So first one is ITS, Intelligent Tutoring System. As I told you, it can create a personalized, customized instruction for students, each of the student, looking at his particular strength and weaknesses. Adaptive learning platforms. Adaptive learning platforms use AI to adjust the content and pace of instruction. This allows students to progress at their own pace and receive support as and when required. NLP, again, this is as we have seen that NLP, natural language processing, तुम्हाला तुमच्या भाषेत शिकायचं असेल तर ते सुद्धा ऑप्शन आता इथे अवेलेबल आहे. Then virtual and augmented reality. VR, AR can offer immersive and interactive learning experiences. They can be used to simulate real world scenarios, provide hands-on practice and enhance student engagement. हे साधारण कुठं वापरलं जातं हे जर तुम्हाला बघायचं असेल तर तुम्ही कार ड्रायव्हिंग शिकायला जाता तेव्हा तुम्हाला पहिले 2 दिवस ते VR मध्ये त्यांची एक अशी खोली बनवलेली असते आणि त्याचा अपीरन्स थोडासा असा कार सारखा असतो आणि तिथे म्हणजे काय म्हणू आपण त्याला की एक व्हर्च्युअल रियालिटीचं एन्व्हायरमेंट बनवलेलं असतं आणि यू फील ॲज इफ यू आर सिटिंग इन अ कार अँड ड्रायव्हिंग अँड व्हेकल्स आर पासिंग बाय. तुमचा एक काय म्हणूया त्याला रोड सेन्स डेव्हलप करण्यासाठी हे काइंड ऑफ वापरले जातात. Then predictive analysis. Predictive analysis can be used to identify at-risk student and provide early intervention. By analyzing student data, AI can predict which student may be struggling and offer targeted support to help them succeed. So this was about the AI in education. Again, इथे सुद्धा ethical consideration आहेतच. AI in education, they can what we can say that थोडासा याच्यात डेटा प्रायव्हसी इश्यू पण येणारच आहे. प्लस एथिकल गाईडलाईन्स जर चुकीची माहिती दिली गेली तर मे बी लर्निंगवर त्याचा रिव्हर्स इफेक्ट येऊ शकतो. आता नेक्स्ट फील्ड वेअर AI इज अप्लाइड इज AI इन क्रिएटिव्ह इंडस्ट्रीज. हे जर तुम्ही बघत असाल आजकाल तर इतकं जास्त या गोष्टीचा पेय फुटलेला आहे की जो तो उठतो आणि स्वतःसाठी AI वापरून इमेज तयार करतो. मग ती देवाची असो, मग ती दानवाची असो, गणपतीची असो, शंकराची असो. तर हे हे प्लॅटफॉर्म सुद्धा खूप ओपन झालेले आहेत आणि तुम्ही बघत असाल तुमचं व्हॉट्सअप किंवा तुमचं इंस्टाग्राम ह्या सगळ्या AI क्रिएटेड इमेजेसने फ्लड झालेलं असतं. इवन तुम्ही स्वतःचा एक अवतार सुद्धा बनवू शकता फेसबुकमध्ये. इफ यू हॅव सीन, तुम्ही तुमचा फोटो अपलोड केला आणि थोडेसे त्याला कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स लावले की मला कसा हवा आहे, लुक कसा हवा आहे, माझ्या चेहऱ्यावरचे भाव कसे हवे आहेत, असं वगैरे दिलं की तुमचा अवतार सुद्धा एक बनून येतो. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट जनरेटिव्ह AI. दिस इज द पॉवर ऑफ जनरेटिव्ह AI. सो दिस इज द जनरेटिव्ह AI इन आर्ट्स. डॉल ई नावाचा एक व्हिज्युअल आर्ट प्लॅटफॉर्म आहे ज्याच्यावर तुम्ही अशा इमेजेस बनवू शकता. त्यानंतर AI इन म्युझिक कंपोजिशन अँड प्रोडक्शन युझिंग AI इन लिटरेचर. these are the models who can generate text, stories and even poems. And visual aid तर सगळ्यांनाच माहिती आहे की AI जनरेटेड आर्ट अँड म्युझिक. अगेन यातले एथिकल इश्यूज काय असतात तर कॉपीराइट इश्यूज. व्हेरी फर्स्ट थिंग इज द कॉपीराइट इश्यू. द डिबेट ओव्हर द ओनरशिप, हू हॅज क्रिएटेड दिस. तुम्ही जरी बनवलेलं असलं तरी इट इज प्लॅटफॉर्म स्पेसिफिक, सो इट माइट बी फ्री टू यूज. त्याच्यावर कॉपीराइट काही नसू शकतो आणि मग येते तुमचे परत प्रायव्हसी कन्सर्न व्हायलेट होऊ शकतात. देन ओरिजिनॅलिटी, द क्वेश्चन ऑफ क्रिएटिव्हिटी अँड ओरिजिनॅलिटी इन AI जनरेटेड आर्ट. अँड थर्ड इज द मिसइन्फॉर्मेशन, रिस्क ऑफ डीप फेक अँड AI जनरेटेड फेक न्यूज. हे तर आपण बघतोय की इवन प्रेसिडेंट लेवलचे लोक पण या डीप फेक मधून सुटलेले नाहीयेत. त्यामुळे दिस इज गोइंग टू बी व्हेरी रिस्की. AI इन creative industries is the biggest risk right now. Then I think yes, I'm done with my slides. आणि आत्ता जर कोणाला काही क्वेश्चन्स असतील तर तुम्ही ते विचारू शकता. Meanwhile, I have given some extra reading links at the last slide. You can read this for more interesting findings, and I'll keep on sharing a few more links in my next lecture as well. So I will summarize what all we discussed today, but meanwhile if you have questions, please post your question. Just a minute. Are there any? Okay.
Yes, students.
These
Do you
are
have any
not for me.
questions?
Yes. Okay. So I'll just summarize in last 5 minutes and then I'll give 5 minutes for questions. So in today's lecture, we saw advanced AI concepts like RL, DeepL, and then NLP. And then we shifted to the real world applications of AI. In that, we saw how AI is applied in healthcare, finance, and education, as well as in creative arts. And what are the ethical considerations? What are the challenges of adapting AI into these real world, what you can say, day-to-day life situations? So this is what we saw in today's lecture. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead through chat, through voice box, whatever is the mode selected by your ma'am.
Please feel free to ask the questions.